that I am so passionate about. And here's the cool thing. What if I told you that what I'm about to share with you has the ability to change the entire trajectory of your life? And I'm not kidding. I literally mean that what I'm about to share with you, a simple 4-step formula, has the ability to shift everything for you from this day forward. Here's what I mean by that. I mean that you could instantly turn a feeling of poverty into one of prosperity. I mean, you could instantly begin a process to begin to heal relationships that have been struggling for years. I mean, I'm going to share something with you that literally means you never, and that's not an exaggeration, you never have to have a bad day again. And the other thing that I'm going to share with you, and what I'm going to share with you, that what you have to understand is, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you're going to have frustrating moments and you're going to have frustrating days. What I'm about to share with you means you don't ever have to have one of those days where you feel like the world is falling down around you. Rather, you get to have the kind of day where nothing but additional opportunity presents itself. So you have to understand a little bit of kind of where this came from. So I grew up in California, grew up in the Bay Area. Anybody here from the Bay Area, by the way? Good, where? Los Gatos, cool, awesome. I'm from San Leandro, so right next to Oakland. So I grew up in Oakland, California, just outside of it, in San Leandro, and I grew up being the kind of guy that you would kind of expect, right? I went to school so that I eventually could go to college, so that I could eventually go get a job, so that I could work for somebody else for the rest of my life. I never even had entrepreneurship like on the radar. It was literally never even something that I considered as something I could potentially do. And as a result, I hadn't started to engage my mind or my life with certain types of principles that would allow me to be a successful entrepreneur or just kind of a successful human. And I kind of just, you know how you don't know what you don't know, right? This is kind of one of those, you don't know what you don't know. And there was so much that I didn't know. And as a result, let me share with you a little of how I looked at the world. Maybe some of you can relate to this. So for me, it always seemed like nothing was going my way. In high school, it felt like I wasn't good looking enough. The girls that I liked didn't like me back. My basketball coach didn't appreciate me. My teammates didn't appreciate me. I was never as good at basketball as I thought that I should be. My grades were never as high as I wanted them to be. And as a result, I was just sort of generally, you would look at me and figure I had a cheery disposition, but in reality, every single night when I would go home, I would be laying in bed just kind of feeling like I was sort of worthless. I don't know if you've ever felt worthless, but I totally did. I remember days, I had acne really bad when I was in high school. And I remember this one day, man, this kid, we were walking down the hall, and he called me pimple beard. And I was so angry and hurt. And I'm not a real violent person, but I pushed him into the water. Because I was like, how dare you? And it hurt my heart so bad. And I used to look in the mirror and tell myself how unbelievably ugly I was. And as a result, I just kind of had this general sort of disposition to life that maybe it's good for other people, but I don't know how it's going to get there for me. Because all of this stuff in my life is sort of teaching me that it's just not good enough. I'm never going to be smart enough. I'm never going to have good enough grades. I'm never going to be good looking enough. I'm never going to be successful enough. My parents, we didn't have a ton of money, and so I just kind of figured, well, I'm never going to have enough money to do the things that I wanted to do. That was just kind of my general approach. And it was that sort of mentality that carried me into adulthood. I was the kind of person, I used to get so mad. When like the littlest thing would happen, I would fly into a rage. Okay? I would stub my toe and want to punch a puppy. I would get so mad. I remember days I'd be out practicing basketball in my driveway, and I'd miss a shot, and I'd get so mad. I'd take the ball and I'd throw it against the thing. My parents will tell you, and one time I got so mad I punched a hole in the wall. I was such an angry person. And I didn't know how to deal with it. I just kind of thought that was kind of the way that you had to be. Because I felt like that's what life was handing me. And so if that's what life was handing me, then all I could hand it back was sort of this anger and this large discontent I had with everything that was around me. And by the way, if you don't think that we are plagued by discontent, just think about this. How many of you know that so many people suffer from something called the weather bug? Do you know what the weather bug is? You know what the weather bug is, right? The weather bug looks like this. You look outside and it's really hot and you go, oh my gosh, I just can't wait till winter when it gets cold, right? We live in Utah, and so we get snow, and if it goes too many months into the winter, we're like, why aren't we getting any snow? I'm still worried about the resorts. But then when it dumps, we're like, oh, I can't wait for summer so I don't have to shovel snow, right? And then when it's raining, you're like, oh, I can't stand driving in the rain. But then when there's a drought, you're like, I just can't wait for there to be rain. And we sort of do this thing, and I don't know why it is, but we interact with each other when it comes to the weather, and it's like one of those constant topics that's sort of always up for debate. And we love to do this thing with one another where we like to talk about how bad the weather is, how bad the weather could be, how bad the weather might be, how bad the weather was one time, right? We just do, I don't know why we do it, but we do it. We also have this thing called social media. We talked about social media this morning. Social media is awesome, but social media trains us that our life isn't as good as other people, right? That's kind of what it does. Because it's kind of their highlight reel, and it's our highlight reel, and in reality, we're just seeing the good stuff, we're not seeing the real authentic stuff, and they're just seeing the good stuff, they're not seeing the real authentic stuff. And so it's the people who, see Matt's in the back, Matt does CrossFit. You ever notice that people that do CrossFit, that's like all they can talk about? I don't know what it is, it's like a cult. It's like, hey, how are you doing? I do CrossFit. I know you do CrossFit, I just want to know how your day is. It'd be good, but better if I was doing CrossFit. I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but that's kind of, it's how it goes. Hey, how are your kids doing? Good, they'd be better if they do CrossFit. I get it, I know. You lift heavy things. We're all excited for you. But it's funny, with the people on social media, with the working out, you always, they do that thing where they like just get the right selfie, right? And then they take it takes like 50 tries, and then they post something like leg day, right? And that we don't see anything else. We just see leg day, and so we kind of know, we kind of feel like their life is awesome, maybe ours isn't because we're not doing leg day. We have so many opportunities surrounding us that tell us that life is handing us an unfair deal. We complain about politics. It's never going the way we want it to go. We complain about our business. We complain about our business partners. See, this is who I was for the vast majority of my life. And it all culminated one day when I was in my car, I was driving to the office, and I was sitting in my car looking down at the office that I was going to go into that day. And at the time, we kind of built our company, and it had been growing, and we had sales reps all over the country, and we hired this guy who was our director of marketing, and he just fundamentally disliked my face. Have you ever known anybody that just sort of fundamentally hates your face? That was this guy for me. And we could not get along, and we would get into shouting matches, and here I was living all these years of ingratitude, feeling like it just wasn't enough, feeling like nothing could go my way, and I'm sitting in my car, I'm stressed out, I've been traveling all over the country speaking for our company, and I was exhausted. We just had a baby boy who's now our middle child. He didn't sleep through the night, so I was so tired. I was so exhausted. I'm looking at the business that we've built over the last 5 or 6 years, feeling like we're not as successful as we should be. I'm not making the money that I should be making. I'm not driving the car that I expect to be driving. And now I have to go into that office and talk to that guy who hates my face and whose face I in turn hate. And I just kind of got to that point. Have you ever had sort of that point in your life where it's like, okay, and I'm done? You ever been there, right? It's like, and scene. Can we not? And I kind of had that moment. I was sitting in the car and we out, and I just kind of had that thought, like, can I just go away from all of it? I didn't really know what that meant. But I just knew that I didn't want to go to work anymore. I didn't want to go home and have to deal with not sleeping and crying babies anymore. I didn't want to have to be doing what I was supposed to be doing in order to make me successful, only to find that I hadn't achieved the success I wanted to achieve anymore. And in general, that same feeling that plagued me my entire life through high school, when I looked in the mirror and told myself I was ugly and never going to be good enough, had manifested itself all at one moment as I sat there in my car looking down at the office that I was supposed to walk into. And that thought came, can I just be done? Now, I've kind of come to realize that when you have those moments of I just want to be done, you really only have two choices that follow that single moment, right? One of them is you give up, and the other is you simply choose to find the strength you've been lacking in order to do the thing you've known you always should have done in the first place. That's kind of what rock bottom is. Like, if you think about it, everybody has rock bottoms. I had this awesome opportunity to volunteer at a rehab and recovery center every single month, and I get to go and share this message with them because it assists in their recovery. We get to talk about rock bottom, and all of them, they have different substances, they have different backgrounds, they have different lives, but they've all reached a point where they said, I'm either done or I'm finally going to find the strength to do the thing I knew I was supposed to do in the first place. And that was me, there in the moment, sitting in the car, looking down at the office, feeling like I either have to be done or do something different. And as I sat there in that moment, I had this crazy word come into my brain. How many of you like to listen to speakers or read books? Anybody here? I love to listen to speakers and I love to read books. Who's your favorite speaker? Tony Robbins. Anybody else? Man, I'm a Zig Ziglar guy. Anybody here like Zig? Zig Ziglar is the best. Les Brown, these guys are amazing. And I try to go to as many events as I can and read as many books as I can and listen to as many speakers as possible. Because here's what I've come to realize. We go to events, we hear lots of stuff. We don't need to remember it all. There may be one or two ideas that sort of get wedged into our brain, and they may resurface at the exact moment that we need them the most in order to change our life. And that happened to me that day, sitting in the car, looking out of the office, trying to figure out if I'm going to be done or if I'm going to do something different. And this word came into my mind of a speaker that I heard years before. And it was a word I did not expect. And when it came, I was like, what the heck? See, I didn't know that this word that I'm about to share you was the single most important thing that would change my entire life. I didn't know that this word and everything that surrounded it was going to be the answer so I never had a bad day again, so I never had to have a business failure again, so I didn't have to live in a poverty mentality, so that I didn't have to be dissatisfied with relationships in my life. I didn't know that this one single word was going to be the game changer. Do you know what the word was? Man, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. What does that say? What's gratitude? Being thankful for something good. Here's what gratitude is for most people, and this is what I thought as I sat in the car looking down at the office, trying to figure out if I need to go here or go here. I went, gratitude, what? Gratitude is being thankful for something. What if I have nothing in my life to be thankful for? Because the job isn't producing what I want it to. I'm not driving the car that I want. My baby won't sleep through the night. I'm not where I want to be in life. I don't care what it looks like on paper. So what, I'm a business owner and I fly around speaking and I have a house and I have a family. That's fine, but I'm not satisfied with that which I have. Therefore, how can I be thankful if I don't have the things that I've been seeking at this point in my life? How is that even freaking possible? I couldn't wrap my brain around the idea of being thankful for what I had. I couldn't figure it out. And here's the crazy thing. I've grown up learning about gratitude. I'm a religious guy. We hear about gratitude. I live in America. In America, we have this thing called Thanksgiving Day, right? So I knew about gratitude. I knew it's that thing that you do when you're sitting around the Thanksgiving table and your parents make you say something you're thankful for so you can eat turkey and then leave and go to Walmart and elbow an old lady to save $5 on a TV, right? I know about gratitude. Like, that's what I thought it was. Just this thing that you kind of say every now and then, like, okay, I want to eat turkey, so I'm thankful that I have food. It was just a thing that you do. It was a thing that you say. It was a touchy-feely, emotional thingy that's in personal development that frou-frous do in order to just find happiness in the life that they've got. And for me, I was like, dude, I'm not happy with where I'm at. It has this word, this gratitude thing that I heard this speaker talk about that it changed my life. But yet here I was, sitting in a car, looking down at the office, feeling like I was ready to be done, having to decide that I was either done or I had to do something different. And if in that moment, that word of gratitude came to my mind, I thought, well, okay, I guess we'll go with that. But see, now here I was in a position where I was not happy with the life that I had, and I had this idea of gratitude coming to my mind that I didn't really know what to do with it. So I did what you're supposed to do, which is I started to listen to speakers, and I started to read personal development books, and I started to seek out the idea of how do you be thankful when you don't feel like life is going your way. Guess what I found? Well, I sure as heck didn't find a blueprint for that. What I did find is people saying, gratitude is awesome. An attitude of gratitude will change everything. So I saw a ton of that, right? I saw all this stuff. All you have to do is just go on a gratitude walk. You just walk around, and you just look and say, I'm thankful for that ball, right? And I'm like, that's not going to work for me. I saw this stuff. You have to gratitude journal. So you open a journal, and you write what they're thankful for, and it's going to figure out. Okay, so I tried all of it, right? All these people are saying that the key to personal development is to do this gratitude thing. I don't know what I'm thankful for, so fine. I'll give it a try. So I'm trying to do gratitude walks, and I'm like, I don't know what to be thankful for. I'm doing gratitude journals, and I'm sitting there with a pen looking at the blank page like, I mean, yeah, I don't know, I got a hand. All right, I got a hand. Okay. I didn't know what to do, and my life wasn't changing. See, what I didn't understand then is what I understand now. That gratitude in general falls into three separate categories. There is something called ingratitude, and this is what I spent most of my life living. Ingratitude is it's never good enough, it's never going to be good enough, and no matter what I do, I can't find a way to get out of the luck that I'm in because the life that I have is affecting me, I'm not affecting it. Ingratitude is when you constantly look around and you see the limitations of the environment that surrounds you. Ingratitude is feeling like you're constantly a victim of your circumstance as opposed to owning your choices and owning the life that you have. That's ingratitude. And see, all of the personal development that I read, everything that I saw, every speaker that I heard, guess what I saw? I saw the next level of gratitude, and it's not the most powerful level of gratitude, and it's what everybody tells you you should do, and it's not even close to enough, and it was this. Express gratitude. Gratitude walk. Look at that ball. I'm thankful for that ball. Gratitude journal. I'm so thankful I have a hand, or whatever. See, but the problem, you guys, is I'm doing this stuff, trying to take action because I didn't want to go that way as I sat in the car. I wanted to go this way, and I had to literally go, well, what the heck? Everybody's telling me to gratitude journal. Everybody's telling me to do that, and so I am. I'm gratitude journaling. But I don't know if you have the kind of relationship with your journal that I do, but I spend most of my time apologizing to my journal instead of like actually writing something. It's always like, I'm sorry it's been 2 weeks since I wrote last. That's primarily what's in the journal. See, you gotta understand, man, when I was this guy, I would wake up in the morning and we had this bed, and we still have this bed, and every morning I'd wake up next to my wife, I'd wake up and I'd walk around this bed that we have, and I would stub my toe. Has anybody here ever stubbed your toe? Oh my gosh, why does it hurt so much? It is a toe. I don't know why there's so many pain receptors. It is unbelievable how much it hurts. And so every morning I'd wake up and I'd stub my toe and I'd go, oh my gosh, oh. And then I would do this thing where I was so angry, right? Oh my gosh, I stub my toe again. I've done this 900 times. I've had this bed for 8 years. I can't seem to figure out the dimensions to walk around the corner successfully and not stub my toe. And so then I'm mad at me, I'm mad at the bed. And here's what would happen. This was almost an everyday circumstance for me. Man, I'd walk around that bed, I'd stub my toe, I'd be so mad. Then I'd walk all the way around the bed because the bathroom's over there. I have to go around the bed, get to the bathroom. And as I'd step into the hallway, see, I have these kids. Anybody here have kids? Those little kids, anybody here ever seen a kid? Anybody here seen one of them? They're awesome. They're about this big, and they do this thing where they have these toys called Legos. Anybody ever heard of Legos? Now, anybody ever stepped on a Lego with their bare feet? I swear they use that as a mild form of torture in North Korea. It is so painful. I don't get it. So I would stop my toe. I'd be so angry. Oh my gosh. Then I'd walk around and I'd go into the hallway and my kids would have left Legos down. So I step on the Lego with my bare foot. And I was already angry in the first place. And now I'm like, oh my gosh. Why can't these stupid kids clean back themselves? How many times I have to tell them to clean their stuff up? Then I'd go get into the shower. Now here's the thing. We have renters in our home. It's my sister-in-law and her husband. Okay? Now, my brother-in-law, her husband is a pilot, so sometimes he'll like wake up early, and take a shower before I do. And what happens is we have one water heater for the house. And so here I am, my toe is throbbing, my foot is hurting, and I get into the shower and I turn it on, and guess what I don't have? I don't have hot water. And so now I'm in pain and I'm cold. Right? It's not going to be in pain and cold. There's nothing good about that. I get out of my cold shower and I look in the mirror. And then the next worst thing would happen. I look in the mirror and I try to smile. And then I see all of these. And I'm like, oh, awesome. Not only am I in pain and I'm cold, but now I'm old. Right? Now I'm getting older. And I look at my beard and I have all this little gray. I'm like, awesome. In pain, cold, and old. What a start to this day. This is going to be fantastic. One for the books, right? Let's write this one down in the gratitude journal. And what would happen, the worst thing would happen after that, you guys. Oh my gosh, this was so bad. And it's almost embarrassing for me to talk about, but I did it so many times. Because I was living right here. Stub my toe, step on the Lego, get the cold shower, see how old I was. And then I'd walk into the hallway again. And then this thing would happen. Now remember we talked about those little humans called children? See, sometimes when children see daddy, they get excited, right? Get really excited. And you ever seen a kid run who's excited? I don't know why, but they have no control of their limbs. And they have no speed control. And they also have no volume control. No speed control, no volume control, no control of limbs. I don't know what happens, but it all goes out. It's like motor function is gone, and it kind of looks like this, right? It's a yell, it's a scream, and it's this all-out flailing, Daddy! Right? Like through the hall. Now here's the deal. At the time, I had kids that were right around this height. And they're coming down the hall barreling at 110 miles an hour with limbs flailing, and they hit you right here. Now, for those of you who haven't had an anatomy lesson recently, men, back me up on this. That hurts! Okay? Ow! And so now, I'm in pain, I'm cold, I'm old, and I'm in more pain. And this isn't just any old pain. This is, forgive the phrase, testicular pain. Okay? This is good for no one. And so then I would do the worst thing, you guys. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed to tell you this. That beautiful child would come barreling at me 100 miles an hour, so excited to see me. You know what I do? Buddy, gosh, please just don't. It's too loud, it's too much. So, what did I just tell my kid? I just told my kid everything that I believed when I was a kid. You're not good enough. You're not lovable. And you shouldn't have a voice because you're too loud. And it breaks my heart when I think about it. That was the guy that I was when I sat in that car, looking down at the office, having to make that decision or that decision. So I go on this journey. I say, okay, fine, I know ingratitude's not the key because it makes me do things that hurt other people. It makes me unhappy with the life that I have. So I say, okay, well, I'm doing gratitude journal. Well, that doesn't seem to be working either, and I can't find the answer. So I began to do something a little bit different, and this is what I want to share with you. This is the key that will make it so you never have to have a bad day again. See, I decided that what I should do is not just remember that speaker who told me about gratitude, but I should go back to the journal that I wrote in the day that I heard him speak and see what I wrote down. And I wrote down the craziest thing. You want to know what I wrote down? I wrote down, it said, not just gratitude journal, it said these words that changed my life. Pick a frustration and keep a gratitude journal about that. And I went, I had never considered that it was even possible to be thankful inside one's frustrations. So I started to go through this process, where every time a frustration would come up, I would take a moment, I would extract it from the busyness of the day, and I would isolate that singular moment as it stood there in time, and I would find something to be thankful for inside of that frustration. You want to know what happened? My life changed. All of a sudden, my fulfillment levels started to go through the roof. My happiness levels increased dramatically. I was more loving and expressing to my children and my wife. I was more successful in business. I was, in general, living an elevated form of existence by doing one simple thing, which was the moment that a frustration would come, I would find a way to be thankful inside that frustration. See, here's what I came to realize. It's not ingratitude, and it's not expressing gratitude. This is part of the equation, but it's not enough. See, expressing gratitude is like this. If you go to CrossFit, right, and you say, okay, I'm going to go CrossFit because CrossFit's awesome, and I'm going to get in shape. And then you walk over and you pick up a 2-pound barbell, which they probably don't even have there, but you pick up a 2-pound weight and you do like 3 of these. And then you set it down and you walk away like, I did CrossFit today. Now, ask yourself this question. If you spent every day for a year trying to get in shape, and all you did is you went to the gym and you walked for 2 minutes on the treadmill and did 2 bicep curls with a 2-pound weight, if that's all you did, would you get a change? But can we agree that it's better than doing nothing? See, this, ingratitude, is the equivalent of doing nothing. Expressing gratitude is the equivalent of doing the bare minimum. You won't see real life-changing circumstances. What you'll see is an effort, and you'll see that the effort doesn't pay off, and you might even move back to ingratitude because you're like, why am I expressing gratitude? My life isn't changing. I feel a little bit better, but not everything on paper is getting any better yet, so I'm just going to live here. That's where I spent most of my life. See, when I got to the point of picking a frustration and actually doing something with that frustration, I wasn't in ingratitude. I wasn't just expressing gratitude. I was doing the most important thing I could do. I was living in gratitude. So what does it mean to live in gratitude? I'm going to teach you a 4-step formula that I came up with to make sure that I can do this all the time. And my book is called Flip the Gratitude Switch. Why would I call it Flip the Gratitude Switch? Why do I have a light switch cover on the front? Here's the reason. Because when I would find gratitude inside of my frustration, it was as if I was flipping this internal switch. And all of a sudden, the circumstances in my life seemed to change. See, it's kind of like this. How many of you have ever been to a 3D movie? Anybody ever been to a 3D movie? Anybody ever taken off your glasses in a 3D movie? Okay, when you take off your glasses and you watch the movie, if you were to watch the whole movie without glasses, would you still understand the plot? You would. Would you know when the jokes came? Sure. You'd know when there was action sequences. You'd hear the same music. The movie would be the same. The only thing that would change would be your experience of that movie. When you shift that perspective, it shifts your experience. See, here's what I can tell you. Life's going to happen no matter what. The only thing you can change is how you react to it when it comes. See, what I'm about to teach you in this really simple 4-step formula is how you take a set of glasses and wire them on your head so that everything you do and everything that you view from this day forward can be different. It's like shifting on a pair of gratitude glasses, not viewing the world through a lens of limitation. And with those glasses, over time, everything starts to shift. What I didn't know is that this simple 4-step formula could not only change the trajectory of my day, but ultimately my life. And I also didn't know that what I'm about to share with you would eventually change my brain and hardwire me to view everything around me differently. I didn't even know that there was a scientific reason why that would happen until I did the research for the book, because I felt compelled to write the book because of what it had done for me in my life. So I'm going to teach you the 4-step formula and teach you why it changes your brain and why you never have to view the same life you have right now the same way. You can snap on a set of glasses and shift the perspective of the life that you have in such a remarkable, beautiful, astonishing way that you never have to go back to that way. So here's the formula. F-L-I-P. F stands for find the frustration. So what does it mean to find the frustration? Here's what it means. It means that when I wake up in the morning now, after going through this process and not finding the answers I was looking for, but realizing I had to find gratitude and frustration, here's what happens. I wake up in the morning and I stub my toe. Oh my gosh, I stubbed my stupid toe again. I can't believe that happened. And I go, whoa, 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 wait a second, I'm frustrated. By the way, I know that seems intuitive. It's not. Because we have been kind of taught that when bad things happen, we just roll with it and we complain to our friends. Right? That's what we do. We complain to our spouse, we complain to our friends. We want to lay what happened to me today. How many times you said that? Right? So we are literally we've been wired that when things happen, we just complain about it. We don't do anything with it. So I stub my toe now and I go, oh, my toe hurts. Okay, why does my toe hurt? Let me find the frustration. Okay, I'm frustrated. Let me take a moment, create this much time in my life, and actually acknowledge what's going on. And so I acknowledge it and I go, I am frustrated. I know it seems so stupid, you guys, but I'm telling you, that little space that you create in that moment is a game changer. So you say, why am I frustrated? That's kind of the next thing. Oh my gosh, I'm frustrated. Why am I frustrated? And so in my mind I go, well, I'm frustrated because I stubbed my toe for the 1 billionth time on the same bed, right? That's why I'm frustrated. So by taking that moment, isolating it, and acknowledging it for what it is, which is an actual frustration that's actually affecting the way you feel, You now create the ability and the space to do something inside of that moment to shift the perspective of the life that just came at you. So step number 1 is you find the frustration. Step number 2 is now you look for what's awesome. So here's the deal. I stubbed my toe. Oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated. I stubbed my toe again. Why am I frustrated? I'm frustrated. Okay. Why am I frustrated? I'm frustrated that I stubbed my toe and then my toe hurts. Now I have to take that same tiny moment in time that I've extracted out and given myself, and I need to look for what's awesome. Let me ask you, what could possibly be awesome about stubbing my toe? Any ideas? What's that? I can finally discover I need to move the bed. Why could it be awesome that I stubbed my toe? What could be awesome about that? What's that? My nerves are still working. What else? What else could be awesome about stubbing my toe on my bed?
It'll wake you up quick.
It'll wake me up quick. That's good. What else? You know there's more. What else? I need to put sandals on so I don't hit my toe. I have footwear. What else could be awesome about me stubbing my toe? I can be thankful I have a bed to stub my toe on. Guys, here's the deal. Here's what happens in our brain. Our brain largely works like a train track. And what we generally do is when something bad happens, we continue to think down that path. And so what happens is we find one thing and another thing and another thing. And so now I'm mad about my toe, I'm mad about the Lego, I'm mad about the cold shower, I'm mad that I'm mad that my kid hit me, because that's the track that my brain is on. But if I take that moment and I actually find and isolate that frustration and acknowledge that I am frustrated, and then ask the question, why am I frustrated? And I now isolate that, and now I look for what's awesome, and I can say things like, you know what? Okay, I'm frustrated. Ow, my toe. But why am I frustrated? Because my toe hurts. But you know what? What could be awesome? I got pain receptors. I got a toe, man. I got a toe. I can feel my toe. I have a bed. And I look at the bed, and I look who's in the bed, and I look at my wife, and I think I have this wife. And then I look at my wife in the bed, and I realize I've got a roof over my head, and I go, oh my gosh, I've got a home. And then I think about the fact that I have income, and then I think about the fact that that income provides this home and provides this bed, and my wife gets to take care of our children, and all I did is I took a singular moment in time. I isolated it, I extracted it out, and I switched the train track. I popped on a set of glasses so that I could view the same life that I had in a different perspective. And what's crazy is when we do that, when we take that moment and we switch the track, our brain starts to find other things that are awesome. Every time I've done this with an audience, there's always silence. And we're like, what could be awesome? And then we find one response, and then another response, and then another response, because that's the way our human brain works. So we literally take that moment and say, I'm going to find something awesome inside of the frustration. As soon as we do that, we move to this, which is we initiate gratitude. Now, here's what this means. How many of you have a smartphone or an iPad of any sort? Okay, when you want to get a new app, what do you have to do? You go to the App Store, and then when you go to the App Store, you have to search for the app, and then how do you get the app onto your phone? You download. You have to touch a button of some sort, and then that information goes from here, which could just be sort of this conceptual idea of an app, and now all of a sudden it becomes this tangible thing, and you have a billion levels of Candy Crush in your fingertips, right? So how does that work as humans? Do we have an app store? If there's something that we want, and we don't know how to go get it, how do we go and find it and then bring it so that it becomes tangible in a reality? You know? We have this crazy tool called words. Language moves the intangible into the tangible. See, if I'm just an empty vessel, and I look in the mirror and I have no thoughts, but if the thought is, I am ugly, how am I going to feel? That I'm ugly. And how are other people going to respond to me? As though I'm ugly. I just took something intangible and I made it real. What if I say, you are amazing? How am I going to feel? That I'm amazing. How are other people going to react to me? Maybe I'm amazing. See, so we use language inside of this moment that we extract out. We find the frustration. Oh, I stubbed my toe. That hurts so bad. gosh, okay, why am I frustrated? I'm frustrated because I stubbed my toe. What could be awesome? I have a toe, I have pain receptors, I can walk, I'm alive, I can breathe, I have a bed, I have a wife, I have a house, I have these kids, I have a job, and all of these things, and all of a sudden we switch the train track, we put on the glasses, and we're like, okay, things are okay. And now we have to take and actually utilize gratitude. See, gratitude is something you do, not something you feel. This is what I didn't know until I wrote the book. I didn't know that gratitude is a verb. I didn't know that it's something that you physically actually do, not just something you sit back and wait to feel some sort of touchy emotional thingy so you can high five a friend and say, hi, gratitude journal. Gratitude is something that is real and actionable. And how it works is you use language and you initiate gratitude and you use these words to call the intangible into the tangible. You say things like, you have your list of awesome. Now you say, I'm so thankful that I have this toe. I'm thankful I have this bed. I'm thankful I have pain receptors. I'm thankful I have my wife. I'm thankful I have this house. I'm thankful I have these kids. And I know how cheesy that sounds. But what you just did is you took a singular moment in time, you isolated it and you treated it. You treated the virus at the root. And you found something awesome embedded in the frustration. And then you go through this process and you use language and your body and your mind change. We do this with our kids all the time. If our kids are having a bad day, if they want to complain, we will say, share 5 things you're thankful for inside this little frustration. And they don't want to do it because they know it's going to change them. And sometimes we just like to stew in our discontent, right? We love it. We just love to just kind of marinate in the fact that everything sucks. We love it. I don't know why, but we do. And so when the kids will say, hey, and when they start to go, right? It starts like this. I'm thankful I have a mom. I'm thankful I have a dad. I'm thankful I have toys. I'm thankful I get to play. I'm thankful I can go watch a show. And watch a shit. That repetition, that language calls the intangible into something real. So when you take that moment of frustration and you isolate it, ooh, I'm so frustrated, my stomach's so violent, I stub my toe and it hurts. Okay, what could be awesome? I have a toe, I have a bed, I have this wife, I have this house. Okay, I'm thankful for my toe. Thankful for this bed, I'm thankful for my wife. Now, I know that this sounds like a long sequence, but in reality, when you start to practice this, all this happens in less than 20 seconds. You can shift the entire trajectory of your day in less than 20 seconds. And if you shift enough moments, you shift your days. And if you shift enough days, you shift a lifetime. That's why the book is Book of Gratitude, which is a simple formula to change the trajectory of your life. But we're not done. We have peace. What happens is as soon as you engage in that process of saying what you're thankful for and calling the intangible into tangible, you now power up with something I call gratitude. Because I believe that gratitude fuels life. And I put a hashtag there because that's kind of the moniker of the book and the movement and this whole idea. Powering up with gratitude is a physical thing that happens when you go through that process. And you probably sensed it. As I started to say, I'm thankful for, did you feel a shift in you? Did you sense a shift in the energy? You know why? It's not just energetic, it's physical, it's chemical. Did you know that when we do that, our body releases dopamine? Dopamine is the reward chemical. When we watch a movie and we see something awesome, and we watch Rocky, and Rocky wins, we're like, whoo, I want to get out there. That's dopamine. When we see an act of service, an act of kindness, we go, oh my gosh, I want to do that too. That's dopamine. Now, here's the thing. That dopamine, over time, you become addicted to in a good way. And here's what I didn't know. Over time, it rewires our brain. It rewires our brain so that we now have a new disposition towards life. You become a new human when you flip the gratitude switch and flip an internal switch, and all of a sudden life's challenges become illuminated. That same life that you had just a moment ago shifts massively in terms of scope and perspective, and you can put it into the right context. It serves you, it blesses you. It's here, and it's a gift. And it all happens inside of a moment of frustration. So the next time you're at that moment and a frustration comes, can I just recommend that you isolate it? You look for what's awesome and go through a sequence and figure out saying that you're thankful for the thing that's awesome inside the frustration, and watch your body change and shift. And over time, you practice it again and again and again. You will become a new human. Your brain will change. You will create new neural pathways. You will put on a set of glasses that same movie of life is all of a sudden in startling, beautiful, perfect perspective and color and sharpness. The same life you just had becomes massively different, and it means you never have to have a bad day. Thank you so much for letting me share this with you. It's something that I am unbelievably passionate about, and I really believe that it is a difference maker. I think it's the reason that we haven't done a lot of marketing for the book, but it continues to grow. We've sold it in countries across the world. I don't even know how that's possible, but I think that this is something that we need. This message is a game changer for me, and I hope it can be a game changer for you. So with that, now we get to jump back into Amazon. Do you guys see how utilizing something like Flip the Gratitude Switch could actually impact your ability to be a successful entrepreneur? If you have employees, you see how flipping the gratitude switch could mean that you could keep employee relations good. Can you see how your employees could benefit from an idea like this so that they can have a greater level of contentment, which means they might serve you better as their boss? Can you see how this could be applicable in your business life so that you don't react rashly to negative things, but you can take a moment isolated and do something with it that could create something magnificent? That's why we share it. This could change your life, but it can also change your business.